My fiancé cheated on me, but lied to his mum that I was the cheater. Now the family hates me. Many years ago, when I was in my early 20s, I was engaged to a guy who was, well, not the best. He was a man-child who would refuse to talk about anything other than himself, video games, and football. I had severe self-confidence issues, and I stayed with him because I convinced myself I was lucky to have one person love me. I never thought anyone else would. So accordingly, we did everything he wanted and never what I wanted. He picked the movie, where we went on date night, where we went on vacation, among other things. At the very least, I was very close to his mother. We got along great, so much so that we often went out together. When my boyfriend proposed, she was thrilled that I was going to become her daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, right after we got engaged, he started acting weird. He got super secretive about his phone and suddenly started going out multiple nights a week to go out with the boys. Then he started cancelling our plans, like date nights, to go out with the boys. When I tried to talk to him about it, asking if he had forgotten our plans, he yelled at me and told me I was being controlling, so I backed off. At first, I was in denial. I told myself there was no way he'd cheat. He had proposed. He wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. Why would someone propose and then cheat? But eventually, I broke down. While he was asleep, I got onto his phone and Facebook account, where I found lewd messages with multiple women, undressed photos from multiple women, and worst of all, recordings of him sleeping with other people. I was devastated. I confronted him about it and he screamed at me, told me I'd invaded his privacy and it was controlling behavior like this that had made him cheat in the first place. We broke up. He moved back in with his mother and he made a big deal how noble he was letting me keep our little flat. I paid for most of the deposit and most of the rent, by the way. The moment she heard about our breakup, his mother came rushing to make sure I was okay. I didn't have the heart to tell her the real reason we broke up because I knew she'd come down on him like a ton of bricks. My boyfriend's father had cheated on her, and so she had always tried to instill in him and his siblings to never cheat. So I lied and told her we'd just drifted apart. I got a snotty message from my ex, clearly not happy that his mother went to me first instead of him. He accused me of being controlling and that I'd manipulated his mother into rushing to me instead of him just to spite him. He was her son, so why should she come and see me? I foolishly apologized and said she'd just turned up, which is the truth. A few weeks rolled by, I was slinking into depression. Then I got a series of nasty texts from his mother calling me a working girl and other choice names, and how she can't believe I betrayed her precious boy. She tried calling, but I didn't answer the phone, terrified of what she'll say. It became clear that my ex had told her we broke up because I had cheated, probably in revenge for her coming to see me first instead of him. Fed up with this and devastated, I sent her a text explaining that that's not what happened. She confirmed her son had told her I'd cheated with multiple men. Why would her son lie? Why would I hurt him this way? Now her baby was scarred for life. My anxiety melted away, leaving only anger. I still had all the evidence of his cheating backed up on my laptop. I sent it all to his mother. Every text, every illicit message, every undressed photo, every conversation with women confirming he had been out with them and stayed the night at theirs, and every video he'd made. I did send the videos separately, warning her of their explicit content, and censored the photos as best as I could. A few hours went by. Then she tried to call. I was too scared to answer. Then she sent a text message apologizing for what she had said and promised me she'd deal with her, in her words, lying sack of crap of a son. A few days went by and then my phone blew up, but now it was my ex, furious that I'd told his mother. It turned out not only was his mother mad at him, but so was most of his family. His sisters were mad at him, his grandmother was furious with him, even his dad, who remember cheated on his mum, said he was disappointed in him. "How dare you tell her that?" he texted me. "Now she's saying I have to apologize to you. That's not fair." It was then that I had an epiphany. I knew that I was done with him. I knew that I deserved better. I calmly replied that he was the one who lied. I told his mother we just drifted apart. He could have left it there, but he chose to be petty. He was the one who caused this. He was the one who cheated. Then I blocked his number. His mother invited me out one last time so we could enjoy a meal together. She apologized again for what she said and she wished me the best. She then broke down all the good qualities she saw in me, all the positives, and told me what a good person I was, and told me to find someone who was worthy of me. I burst out crying. It was a well-needed wake-up call that helped me start on the long road to gaining self-confidence. Her son, on the other hand, got the scolding of a lifetime from his mother, grandmother, sisters, his father, and even his stepmother. Some of his friends even told him what a D-bag he was being. His mother made him pay her back for all the deposits she had paid for our wedding venues and vendors. The cherry on top, though, was that whenever he made whiny posts online about how unfair it was or tried to say it was my fault, his family and some of his friends chimed in to correct him and remind him exactly why he was suffering in the first place. It's been over a decade since then. I'm happily married to a wonderful, supportive man with 3 beautiful children. I still look back on that moment in life and laugh at how my ex could have avoided it all if he'd just kept his mouth shut and not acted like a petulant child. You really have to wonder how someone that revolting can stem from what sounds like it would be such a good parenting figure growing up, especially if his mum was specifically drilling into him what cheating can do to a person. I guess he just ended up being one of those humans with zero empathy, and apparently no qualms about lying. That's a shame for everyone. That's kind of narcissism, right? Because apparently other people aren't allowed to lie or do wrong, but when he does it, it's fine. Kind of insane that he could go on the attack against his ex for talking about his cheating, while being completely okay with making up stories about her doing it with multiple other men. At least he got justice. The blame was laid at the correct feet in the end. The best part is, he would have been fine if he hadn't tried to paint himself as the perfect victim who had done nothing wrong, leading to the breakup. Am I the jerk for cancelling the Mother's Day celebration that I'd arranged for my wife after hearing what she told my son? I have a 13-year-old son. I was a widower when I met my now wife. She has a 16-year-old daughter from another relationship. The family is often on pretty good terms. My son is the quiet one in the house. He keeps to himself a lot, but not to the point of being concerning. My wife and stepdaughter are the complete opposite. They both encourage him to be outgoing and share activities and join gatherings with the extended family. My son complained about having to be forced out of his comfort zone and having his need for space invalidated. I spoke to both my wife and stepdaughter and asked them to give him space and freedom to spend his time however he wanted. They apologized and promised to let him be. As Mother's Day was approaching, I wanted to throw my wife a surprise Mother's Day celebration. It was no longer a surprise because my stepdaughter gave her the heads up so she could prepare. Yesterday, I got off work earlier than usual to get final arrangements done. We'd planned to celebrate at a restaurant and invited her family there. I had the key, and while I was entering the house through the front door, I overheard my wife and stepdaughter talking to my son. My wife was asking my son if he could convince me to let him stay home and not go with them to the restaurant to celebrate. I paused and decided to keep listening. My son said, "Why?" and she told him that his introverted and socially inept attitude will make her family uncomfortable and ruin the mood. He promised her that he'd be well-behaved and would try to interact and socialize with everyone, but she said that she wasn't buying it. He kept reassuring her, but she snapped and told him that technically she's not his mum, so she didn't get why he wanted to celebrate Mother's Day with her so badly. My stepdaughter threw some backhanded comments, I don't remember, and then both of them were shocked to realize I was standing there. Both were staring without saying anything. I told my son and his stepsister to go to their rooms, and then I told my wife that the celebration was off, cancelled. She tried to argue, asking why repeatedly, and I told her. She tried to explain that she didn't mean it like that and that I only heard part of the conversation but not all of it. I told her I was done arguing and the decision was already made. She yelled, asking what she was going to tell her family, and said I was making a tremendous mistake towards her. I ignored her for a while she kept throwing tantrum after tantrum. Early this morning, she took my stepdaughter and went to stay with her folks. Not a single call or text from her. Situation is full of tension. I'm upset, but still more hurt, to be honest. I mean, yes, I did say I was going to have this celebration, but I thought that what she said to my son was too harsh to ignore. Am I the jerk? No. If she's not going to be the mother to your son, then why the heck should you throw a Mother's Day celebration for her? Yet another case of a breathtaking lack of empathy. I thought she was on track to not be a jerk there. attempting to involve the lad and take him out of his shell, even if that was misguided. I still think it showed an attempt at bonding and integrating the families if that's what they wanted. Way to throw all of that out the window in one encounter, lady. There was some seriously mean stuff being said there. I think my opinion on whether this is salvageable hangs on whether this is the first time a discussion like this has taken place between your wife and son. If she's that brutal with him whenever you're not there, then this is a serious problem, and that's probably wrecking his self-esteem. There need to be changes. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, linked below. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. Am I the jerk for making naughty poses while my neighbor kept recording me for no reason? My dad passed away recently, and he left me and my sister his house. It's super unkempt, so I've been doing a lot of yard work outside in the mornings. I'm out there watering the grass in the mornings and evenings. Every single time I've done this, the neighbor right next door, who's like this older granny, came out to her porch and straight up watches me without even hiding it. I introduced myself to her once, and that me and my sister were now the new owners after my dad passed away, but it was obvious she didn't want to talk. Next thing, she starts coming outside with her phone, pointing the camera at me. I'm like, is there a problem? She says, "There's no problem as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do." I asked her why she was recording me then. She says, "What's the problem with me recording you if you're not doing anything wrong?" It's so fricking weird I didn't even know how to respond to the situation. As soon as I finished, I went back inside and she went back to her house too. This happens every single day I'm outside watering the grass. Always the same excuse that she wants to make sure I'm not doing anything else, or if I do, it's on camera. So yesterday, I got fed up and decided to do something different. When she came out with her phone, I stuck my butt out and put my hand on my hip, looking right at her. At first, she was like, "What the frick?" But then she got really mad when I started wetting myself with the water hose and touching my neck while looking directly at her. Was it stupid? Yes, but she put her phone away and started cussing me out for being a prevert. My sister told me later on that she came to the house when I was at work, talking about me lewdly assaulting her, making poses in provocative ways. My sister knows she's a pain in the butt since she's probably got nothing to do with her time. But that I still shouldn't have stooped to her level, making her uncomfortable right back. I feel like I'm right on this one, and it wasn't even that bad. It's not like I was grabbing myself or anything. But also, I can be a dumb idiot sometimes, so I don't know. You guys tell me. Was I the jerk? I don't know that you were the jerk. What was her deal? If what you were doing was harassment, then what she was doing was persecution, if we're going to just blow things out of proportion. I did read some of the comments in the story, and I found out that both you and this lady were white, so it's not a racism thing. I wonder if it's an age thing. She doesn't trust you young kids with your Walkmans and your hopscotches, getting chalk all over the street, and wants to catch you in the act. Who knows what you'll get up to while you're sensibly maintaining your lawn. If she has hours and hours of footage of every person who comes within 15 meters of her house, can she even really call you a prevert? Food for thought. I honestly think that you should come out wearing different outfits for your morning chores. You'd have a lot of fun with it. It's an excuse to re-wear that Borat Mankini costume that you got for Halloween so long ago. Entitled Mother doesn't like scars. This happened when I was at the gym today. A little backstory. Basically, my gym also has a large swimming pool attached to it, and both the gym and swimming pool share a locker room. The gym is for ages 16 and up, but the swimming pool has no age limit as long as people under the age of 16 have a parent or guardian with them. I just finished my usual 2.5-hour session in the gym. I was in the changing room and I had my shirt off as I was rummaging through my gym bag for some deodorant and a clean shirt. To explain an important component of the story, I had a horrible mother when I was a kid. I've got a scar on my side from where my mum had hit me with a broken bottle while I was trying to protect my sister. This was nearly 11 years ago. While it's mostly faded, there's still a jagged line that's visible as it was quite a deep wound. I hear the door open and I see a middle-aged woman walk into the men's changing room. My first thought is that perhaps she's made a mistake, but no. She just stands by the door, looking at a kid, probably around 13 to 14 years old. This kid looks like he's about to die of embarrassment. Mom, just go. I'll come out when I'm ready. There can be dangerous men lurking here. God only knows why your fathers let you come here. I say, sorry to interrupt, but this is the men's changing room. You really shouldn't be here. Another guy chimes in. Yeah, some of us are trying to get changed here. Get lost, lady. It's at this point that she sees my scar, as I still haven't put my clean shirt on. You there, you've got to cover up that disgusting scar. It doesn't make you look cool or big. You shouldn't be proud of a mark like that, as it makes you look ugly, and no one's attracted to it. Before I could even utter a single word or think of a sarcastic comeback, she grabs her son and walks out. Me and the other guy exchange a what the frick look and have a laugh. I say my goodbyes and leave. I'm meeting my fiancé for dinner and wedding talk, and then I'm on night shift. Sorry it's not dramatic or action-packed, I just thought this lady deserved her place on the wall of Karens. What on earth? Well, she's the jerk. I'm also flabbergasted that there didn't even remotely seem to be any interest in the buff guys in various states of undress in that locker room, so at least she's not a pervo, even if she's a jerk and kind of a crazy judgmental weirdo. You know who has scars, lady? People who've been attacked by terrible people, not always just the terrible people themselves. Also, I disagree with her. I think scars are kind of badass and a lot of people find them very attractive. But nobody in their right minds is going out of their way to get deep wounds for the show factor. If you had gone to fetch a staff member, they'd have gotten her out of there, which means as far as the rules are concerned, we can say that she's in the wrong here. Today I messed up by checking the hidden photos on my mother's phone. So for context, my mother gave me her old phone shortly after she got a new one because mine had been stolen a few days prior. So I began transferring my iCloud data, photos, contacts, text messages, etc., and I decided to check the photos to make sure it all transferred correctly. So I opened the library and then saw the hidden album with a small 4 above it. So naturally, I opened it, expected maybe some inappropriate texts to my father or at worst an embarrassing video of me or my brother. But what I saw was so much worse. Upon opening the album, I was greeted by 3 fully undressed photos of my mother. This by itself wasn't that condemnable because she's an adult and it was probably intended for my father. It was the 4th item in the album that was the worst, however. Before I say this, I want to prepare you. It's very shocking and I still don't know what to think about it. I clicked on the video and hit play, and was instantly subjected to a nearly 10-minute long tape of my mother and uncle doing the deed. My father's brother? However, that's not even the worst part. My uncle is married with 2 kids. I still haven't confronted my mother about this, but I plan to soon. In short, I stumbled upon a tape of my mum and my uncle while exploring her hidden photos. And now, an update. Did you people not hear what I said? The uncle is on my father's side, not my mum's. And of course I didn't watch all 10 minutes. I just saw the duration time on the bottom. I love that final clarification so much. It confirms to me that your inbox was full of people calling you a prevert for watching a 10-minute video of your relatives having naughty bedroom times. Although personally, once you had seen the first photos, I wonder what on earth possessed you to think that the video in the same album was something that you'd be remotely interested in. Live and learn, I guess. Up until you realized that this was a marriage-ending revelation, good on you for being so open about your mum being an adult who's well within her rights to take raunchy photos if she so pleases. And this is a whole other kettle of fish if the dad was the one holding the camera in that video. Then it just turns into the most awkward series of family gatherings in history if you do confront her. Apparently, booking a seat on a train is not a real booking if someone else decides to sit there. I was travelling from Edinburgh to London by train and had booked a window seat with a table. I got on the train to find 4 guys sitting at the table. The one in my seat that was clearly marked as booked refused to move as he was with his friends and the train was packed. The ticket collector passed and I asked him to help. He asked the guy to move but he refused and somehow that was that. So what now? I asked. You can find another seat, but I've got no power to move him. Only the police can move him, and they won't just turn up to move someone out of a train seat. There were no seats free in the carriage, and probably not many free on the train, so standing to London was a possibility. I'm going to take a seat in first class, I said. Better surroundings, power sockets, and free tea and coffee. You cannot sit there, you don't have a booking. Well, you could call the police to move me, but apparently they won't turn out to move someone out of a seat. I had a lovely trip with power for my laptop and a wide, comfy seat. I honestly just think it seems like this conductor didn't want the hassle of doing their job, plain and simple, because no conductor I've ever met would let this crap fly. Also, we've got other stories on our channel about UK train conductors stopping the train, calling the cops, or refusing to let the train leave until people like this shift their butts. So I'm glad this worked out for you, dear author, because the reality is that you just had a conductor who was intimidated by the burly tough people and didn't want to start something, and then basically had to eat his own words when you just said screw this and sat with the toffee noses in the rich person carriage. Congratulations! When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories. Or if you want to check out some great music, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, give Am I the Genius a shot. Everything linked in the description.